everybody sing that shit.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Tay Pancakes, aka Taylor Stevens, aka Tay, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So, as y'all read from the story, bitch. As y'all read from the title, I know y'all probably excited because the girl got another story time video for y'all. Today is gonna be a little different. I don't usually do these kinds of stories. It's gonna be a scary story, bitch. Scary. It's gonna be scary. Yeah, brace yourselves. Go ahead, get your popcorn. Hopefully you're watching this at night where it could get a little spooky. If not, turn the lights off and get the mood going. Get it going. So before we start today's video, I have to of course thank our sponsor. I'm super excited to say thank you to Blackout Bingo again for sponsoring this video. As I told y'all before, and as y'all know, I am a Blackout Bingo freak. Blackout Bingo is an amazing game. It's a mobile game where you can play to win real cash prizes. Basically, you and your competitor get the same bingo card, and then it starts calling the bingo numbers, and it gets faster and faster and faster, and the goal is for you to be faster than your opponent. Basically, winning is based off of how fast you can react. So if your reaction skills are up there, this is the game for you. Y'all know, as I've told y'all before, I love playing this game in my spare time. You can bring bingo anywhere that you go. I do love bingo, so you know I'm guilty. I play this game before bed. I play this game when I just have time to pass, when I just got free time on my hands. I love to play this game, and not to mention I'm real competitive, so this is a good game for me. Blackout Bingo is owned by Skills, who hosts casual tournaments for millions of mobile players worldwide, and they distribute millions in prizes each month. I love Skills. They have amazing support. They make sure that they match you with people who basically match your skill level. If you are an expert, they'll match you with the expert. If you're a novice, they'll match you with another novice person, and so on and so forth, so you'll never be playing somebody that's out of your league. And if you want to play for free, there's also all types of free play options. And if you're playing for cash, you can cash out anytime you want to. Me, I like to cash out every win, but you know, some people want to stack their cash and, you know, take it out when they want to take it out, but you can cash out anytime that you want to. Now, if you like bingo, you don't got to go old school and go down to the bingo bar and to the bingo hall. You can have bingo right at the palm of your hand. Once again, getting started is super easy. Y'all know the deal. Use my code YouTube and you'll get an extra $5 in free cash to play with on the app. Yes, free cash. Everyone loves free cash. And you can access the free cash when you make your first deposit on the game. It's super fun. If you're good at the game, you can win good money and you can try to beat me. So go ahead and click the link in my description. Make sure that y'all use code YouTube, and hopefully you'll get matched with me for some good times and good bingo. And now we get back to regular scheduled programming, aka scary time. All right, so you know we gotta set the mood, set the mood, set the mood. This is not okay. I don't like swirling around in a circle because it makes me feel like I'm about to do a seance, and that's not the vibe we're going through. Lord Jesus, I rebuke it. So let's chill out and sit down. Why am I? Y'all hear that? My floorboard's creaking. I'm glad. See, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm glad I heard that floorboard creak before I started this story, because I would have freaked out. Okay, so we're gonna set the mood. We're gonna set the mood. This story is set in elementary school on a school trip, my school trip. So when I was in elementary school, I went to this school. It was a charter school, and we would go on like these weird trips. And I don't want to say weird. Weird is not the word. So I grew up in Baltimore. Basically, the trips would always be history based. They will always be based on the history of Baltimore. Always learning about different, you know, the history of Baltimore, the culture of Baltimore, you know, the Chesapeake Bay Foundation, all of those things. So we had that kind of vibe going on at the school with all the trips that we take. So we took this trip called an urban expedition. It was basically a fancy word for hiking in the city, hiking in the hood. So yeah, so basically that was the vibe we were going for, and we literally were bumming it. We had backpacks, we had like, it was as if we were going on an actual expedition through a mountain, but we were going through the projects. That's literally what it was. I cannot explain it. It was called an urban expedition. Maybe it's common, I'm not sure, but it was something that was definitely questionable now that I look at it at my big age. Went on an urban expedition, and we would make all these stops. So first stop we stopped at this park called Lincoln Park. We stopped there, and yeah, this was like a couple night thing. Like we was like, I forgot how many days we did it, but yeah, we had random places to sleep every time. Like random unsafe places to sleep every night. I'm not sure why our parents, I don't think they really know what we were signing up for with these crazy white people. But so the first night we stayed in this park. This is where stuff started to get uncomfortable for us because we were kids. Stuff was creepy. So my friend was playing too much. She started telling scary stories to us in the park, like just being childish, and we're scared at this point. So any little crick crack we heard in the woods, which there were, I mean not the woods, in the park, which there was squirrels and all types of stuff, would scare us. So we go to sleep, me and my friend hear cricking and cracking and we're scared, whatever. That's not the scary part. Fast forward. But that's what set us to be scared for the next few nights, because my friend told us this scary story. I cannot remember it word for word, but she told us a story about this creepy old man and how he had died and his spirit was around Baltimore, all this crazy stuff. So that was the scariest story at that time that I had heard while we was on that trip. Not that we heard a bunch of scary stories, but that was enough to make my whole trip creepy. So on to the next destination. It's a nice day. The day starts to become night, and we're on our next destination. Here's where the fun part comes. So our next destination, I don't even know if we were allowed to be in this church. I don't remember the name of the church, but it was a really old church, and we learned the history and stuff on it. It wasn't an active church, like they didn't have service on Sunday. It was just a really old church. It didn't seem like it was used for like museum purposes or anything. It was just an old church. I don't know how we even got permission to stay in the church, because it was giving abandoned. It really gave me abandoned church vibes. So we get in there and we're not greeted by anybody. I don't know what's going on, and the instructors are just like, yeah, this is where we'll be staying for the night. This whole trip was giving homeless. It was giving, we didn't really have permission to do anything, and if the cops caught us, we would go to jail. So yeah, so we get in this, let me explain how the church looks. So you walk into the church, and I remember this church vividly. You walk into the church, and the church had this weird smell, like this odor. You know how older buildings can smell? It was like that times 1,000. Like it was like a really, because there was carpet all in there. So you know the carpet is probably absorbing all the humidity and all that, because yeah, there was no air in there. Like I kept wondering, like, if they know we're staying here, why isn't the air on? Maybe the air doesn't work, whatever. So you go in, looks like a regular church, but it was a church / community center. So there was like a basketball court in there. There was like a little cafeteria. It was just, but it was eerie in there. I couldn't explain it. It made me itch. Like, it was so eerie. So we didn't do much. They let us get settled. We ate whatever it was that we ate, and we slept in the gym. So for some reason, I can't remember if we had different groups, but I remember me and my friends in the gym by ourselves. And I'm 100% sure we were by ourselves. Like we were sleeping like a circle, and we were by ourselves, like in sleeping bags. And so me and my friends were by ourselves in the sleeping bags, just chilling. We couldn't sleep, and we was all talking about how creepy it is. We like, is this not creepy to y'all? Like, is it not giving kidnap vibes to y'all? And so we were all like just eerie, like none of us could sleep. So we're all sitting there having conversation, just collectively talking about how creepy it was in there. So as we're talking, we hear a thud in the closet. You know how gyms are. There was a closet. Imagine the closet's behind me. Actually, I wish I didn't make that image, because now I feel like something's behind me. But imagine a closet behind me, and it's the gym closet. So the gym closet creaks open. Y'all, I'm not making this up. Just listen to me. The gym closet creeps open. It creeps open, and a basketball comes out. Do. Like something out of a movie. The basketball comes out to us, and everybody is dead silent. This is not like, listen, we're not like one of those movies, hello, is anybody there? So we all looked at each other, we got up, and we ran. This is not one of those stories where we go and we check. We black. We got up and we screamed and we ran. We got up out of there. Turns out, now it does get scary after this, but turns out that was our friend trying to play games with us. So at that point, this is giving very much scary movie, but I promise y'all this really happened. So my friend was like, yo, I was just playing, it was me. And we like, you played too much, we were already scared. And so, you know, we all, at that point, we just all laughing about the joke. You know, when somebody make a joke, the joke never ends. We like, you should have saw how you were running. No, you should have saw how I was running. And so the rest of us were just kikiing, and me and a few of my friends had to go to the bathroom. Me and 3 other girls had to go to the bathroom. The bathroom, y'all, we're on like the main level. The gym was on the main level. The bathroom is downstairs. Yes, just like every setup of a scary movie, it's downstairs in the basement area. So I'm like, we have to go to the bathroom. We go ask the instructors. And to answer your question, yes, they were. So we go ask our instructors, and we're like, hey, we need to go to the bathroom. And they're like, oh, okay, well, it's right downstairs. You guys should be able to find it fine. And we like, so they're not gonna offer to take us down there? Whatever. In our heads, we're either the only ones at this church, or there's somebody like working in the back office or something like that. But we were like, I don't know. Anyway, so we go downstairs. And for some reason, there's like these automatic lights when you come down there. Like, I don't know why. But when you walk down there, the automatic lights come on, because we couldn't find a switch. But I'm like, I don't know how else to get down there. So we get on down there, just the lights come on. I'm like, all right, cool. So we get down there and we get in the bathroom. Y'all, this bathroom is so creepy. Mind you, this is not a service church. Like, this church is not having church on Sundays. You go in there and there's writing on the walls. There's like rust by the sinks in the bathroom. Like, if I could explain, and then the towel on the floor just looked unkept. Like, this place looked nasty. Like, creepy too. Like, I'm getting creeped out when I talk about it. But the bathroom was really creepy. Like, I'm trying to paint a picture. So there's like graffiti, like kind of messed up graffiti on the walls. People write stuff like such so was here, and like all of these crazy writings on there on the walls. One of the mirrors in the bathroom was broken, and because it was like a school style bathroom, I guess, because it was a community center / church. So anyway, the bathroom was creepy. We hurried up and went to the bathroom. We try and go to the bathroom. We washing our hands as fast as we can. Surprisingly, there was soap. But we're washing our hands as fast as we can down there, trying to hurry up and get everybody to go to the bathroom. And we like, all right, y'all, let's go. This is weird. So we get out, we go, and we scream because there is a man downstairs. The man downstairs is like this older, like white man. He had on like a shirt that was kind of with like a polo, like kind of buttoned up shirt. It wasn't a polo like polo, but it was a polo. And yeah, and so he just was creepily standing outside of the bathroom, and we're like, we screamed, and he was like, oh no, calm down, it's fine. And so I'm like, stranger danger, stranger. I'm like, okay, well, we're gonna leave. He was like, oh no, it's fine, I work here. And so we're like, oh, okay, you work here. Anyway, we're gonna go, because I don't give a freak who you say work here. It's just us down here, 4 girls and you. So I'm like, in my head, I'm already imagining how I'm gonna beat this man's ass. And yeah, I'm pretty sure all my friends was thinking the same thing. So we're just little kids, like, so I'm like, I don't know how we're gonna do this, if we're gonna go for the ankle or bite, but I'm gonna figure out how to get out of here if I have to. So the man's talking to us, and he's like, yeah, do you guys know the history on the church? And he just starts talking to us. He was like, yeah, I love working here. And he tells us this story about how back in his day, you know, kids would come to this church, but they didn't use the church for the right reasons. Like, people would come to the church and hide criminals in there, and people would also come to the church and commit all types of crimes, like drug crimes and all of that. And he's like, he remembers a time where it was a good church that was to help the community, but once it started going downhill, you know, they stopped having service and stuff there. So I'm like, okay. At this point, we start getting a little trusting, I guess, because he knew his history. Like, I mean, I guess it seemed like he worked there for a while, and we never thought to ask, like, what do you do here? But, you know, he telling us the history of the church, and we keep trying to get away. We keep trying to walk away, but he keeps talking. So our counselor calls us. They're like, Taylor and gang, I'm not gonna say the name, Taylor and gang, you know, come upstairs, you guys have been down there too long, boo 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 boo. So we're like, okay. So we go upstairs, we start telling all our friends about the guy we met downstairs. We're like, oh y'all, remember we were wondering if we were the only ones in here? Like, no, there's a guy, he's downstairs, he works here, he must, like, you know, monitor the place at night. So, you know, I guess it's not as creepy to know that, like, we're not in here by ourselves. So we start telling them about the guy and about all the stories that he told us, and we was like, oh, that's crazy. Like, you would never expect, like, you know, we in Baltimore obviously, so you sure, but you know, it's cool, like, you know, to know what kind of stuff used to go on here. Yo, this is where it gets crazy. So fast forward the night, we couldn't sleep. The counselor comes in and she's like, you guys need to keep it down because we're trying to sleep. So I can't remember if we were in two groups or not, because I'm like, why? I cannot put my finger on the reason why the counselors were not staying with us. The instructors were not staying with us, like in the room with us. But besides that, they come in there, they're like, y'all need to keep it down. Because, you know, we loud, we kids. And so, like, we're like, oh, I said, oh, we're sorry. Are we disturbing the man downstairs? And she was like, the man downstairs? There's nobody downstairs. And so we're like, yeah, the guy, he works here. He was like, no one that works here is here. Y'all, we start looking around at each other. And I start asking myself, I'm like, no, because I'm going to say Keisha, Samaya, and Ashley. Keisha, Samaya, and Ashley. I got to put a name to them because that's not their name. But I had to put some type of name towards the girls or it's going to bother me. Keisha, Samaya, and Ashley were just with me. We were downstairs talking. That's what was taking us so long. And she's like, what are y'all talking about? Like, we don't have time for the games, go to sleep. I'm like, ma'am, we were downstairs. You know, we were downstairs for a decent amount of time. We were downstairs because we were talking to an older white guy. He says he works here. So at this point, she starts to get a little, I could tell she starts to get a little iffy, like, you know, actually believing us because it was the truth. So she's like, okay, fine, guys, stop playing games. We're gonna go head downstairs. We're gonna go head downstairs and see what y'all talking about. So at this point, we scared. We like, okay, so who is we talking to? Like, I can't believe this. And da-da-da, we're just going, we freaking out. I'm like, maybe they playing a prank on us. Like, obviously, something's going on, whatever. So she comes upstairs. She's like, see, no one was downstairs. Y'all need to stop playing games and get some rest. We did not get rest. I got zero rest. And all I could think about all night was the fact that we talked to some man downstairs and he told us that he worked there. And they told us that there was no workers in the building. So the whole night, and mind you, this is an old church. So we're all trying to go to sleep. A few of us fell asleep. But the real ones, like me, Samaya, Ashley, and whatever I said her other name was, we wasn't sleeping, baby. Like, none of us could sleep. And, you know, a few other students who was in their right mind didn't go to sleep. So we up all night. We like, y'all, what do y'all think? Like, I'm ready to go home. Like, you don't understand. We was in the city, and I was like, I feel more comfortable walking home than staying in here. Like, we was really about to dip. Like, I'm like, this is not a scary movie where I'm ready to sit here and stay for this time. Like, we have to go. And so we're plotting our escape at this point. We like packing our stuff, and I'm like, I'm ready to go. I'm like, I'm about to call. And the thing is, we didn't have our phones because this whole thing was sketchy. We didn't have our phones, and I don't remember why. I think they had our phones, and it was supposed to be us being one with the blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, whatever. I told them, I was like, I'm ready to go. They can keep the phone, baby. I know how to get home from here. I do. I know how to get home. Hopefully, we don't get snatched up, but I got a better chance of surviving out on the streets of Baltimore than surviving in this old creepy church, because it's either somebody was down there or something was down there, and I'm not sitting here to find out. So we start to pack our bags. The lady comes in. She was like, what are you guys doing? You need to be asleep. And we're like, we're not sleeping in here. You're not hearing us. There was a man downstairs. And we were telling her, we was like, we learned all of this stuff from the man downstairs. She's like, what did he tell you? So we start telling her all this stuff we heard from the church. And she was like, that never happened. And I was like, well, apparently there's more to this church than you know, because the old white man downstairs told us about the stories about this church. And so that's when it starts getting creepier, because she tells us this whimsical story on the history of the church and how it helped the community, but the guy downstairs told us the whimsical stuff that helped the community, but then he starts telling us all the dark sides of the church, right? So fast forward to the next day. It's daylight and we have not gotten any sleep. The lady confirms to us, and she was like, we know that there was somebody downstairs last night because some of the food from the fridge was out, unless any of you went downstairs to eat it. And so we were like, no, we didn't. And she was like, so there must have been someone downstairs last night. So it was a ghost. So it was paranormal activity. Because I'm gonna tell you something about that church. The way the basement was set up, there was no, like, not from my knowledge, I didn't see like a door down there. Like, there was like a window, but there was, y'all, there was no door down there. So I'm like, how did a person manage to be downstairs? And in order for somebody to get out of the building, that's why we couldn't run away, because the instructors was right there. So the only way that that guy would have been able to get out of there is if they were either not right there and then he somehow slipped past them. Yeah, so yeah. So we fast forward to the next day. We have one more night on this urban crack expedition. And yeah, we're walking, we're hiking up the side of the highway. We're all talking about it. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this. There was somebody downstairs. Y'all didn't know, and boo, 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 boo. And I just knew in my head, when my mother hear about this, she might sue. She might sue. Because I don't even think they knew what they were signing us up for. She might sue. So, yeah, we were all talking about that the whole night. But let me tell y'all something. Here's the twist. So the sun starts to go down, and as the sun starts to go down and we go to our last destination and rest for the night until we get to go home tomorrow, we look across the street. Mind you, it's getting dark, it's pretty dusk outside, and we see the man, y'all. I swear to y'all, in the bush, we see, like by the bushes, we see the man, the one that was downstairs last night. We see the man. So he's across the street, and we're telling the instructor, ma'am, that's the man from last night. And she was like, excuse me? I said, that's the man that was in the church last night. And he was eerily staring at us. I'm like, he's staring at us. And she was like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to go take care of this. Y'all, he like, what's up, y'all? We like, yo. Turns out, I hate to kill a scary story, but to put light onto the story, turns out it was a crack kid. So basically the dude comes over there and he was like, hey y'all the people from downstairs the other day. And she was like, did you tell my students that you worked at the church? He was like, oh, I was just kidding, but I was telling the truth about the history of the church and da 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 da. And so he's scratching, you could tell he's tweaking out. And he was like, yeah, I was telling the truth because I used to be up in that church getting crack and just going in, just going in. And so we're laughing. At this point, this is what scares the camp counselors, Sarah and Joe. They're scared. They're like, oh my goodness, a crackhead. And we like, hey, like, what's up? Like, I'm happy that it's not a ghost or a pedophile. Like, great. He was like, yeah, I just wanted to tell the little kids a little history, you know, shake them up a little bit. He was like, but you know, I was just stopping by because I ain't had nowhere else to go. Da, da, da. He's like, but I'm gonna let y'all be on your way. Well, that answers the mystery of the church, the man in the church in the basement. He was one of those like, how can I say this? He was, okay. I'm gonna tell y'all why we couldn't tell that he was a crackhead from the jump. So he was one of those white men that like, he was older, but he wasn't old. Like once we saw him in the light, he wasn't, I'm gonna say it like this. It looked like the drugs aged him. Like you could tell by how he talked. He hung around all black people. Like, and when he was about to leave, it was him and some other black people calling him down like, "Hey, Frankie!" Like, and Frankie was like, "Hey, what's up, man?" Like he's like, "Yeah, I was just trying to tell them a little history about the da-da-da-da," just going in, whatever. So they're scared and we're relieved. That just shows the difference in culture, because I wasn't about to be scared of no crackhead. He harmless. He just, you know, he was harmless. He ain't did nothing to us. He was creepy how he was standing in there, but I think he was more scared because he didn't think we was gonna be in there. So I feel like, so he didn't get in trouble, he had to say he worked there or something like that. Bottom line, moral of the story, don't go on no urban expedition. I don't know why the school did that. I don't know why the school did that. We could have learned about the city of Baltimore easily without going on no urban expedition. All we did was go through hoods, cut through projects with hiking gear on. I'm not making this up, and I wish I could. We hiked through the city of Baltimore. And that's what happened when you hike through the city of Baltimore. So that is my scary story. I didn't want to say, you know, I didn't want to clickbait anybody, but that was a scary experience at the time, and the sigh of relief at the end is what keeps me awake at night. So yeah, that's the end of this video. Make sure that you guys like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to link our couples channel in the description, so make sure you subscribe to Tay and Monte as well. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Bye.